Yeah, so I'm gonna start reading Bloodmarked. This is the second book in the Legendborn series. Because I finished the Jossid Crown and Heart the Lover, I wanted to read like a happier book, but I don't want to necessarily say this is a happier book, but there's like a lot more going on, so it might distract me enough to not be as sad. But yeah, this one again is probably, it's pretty long. It's like 500 something pages, 550-ish. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one. If you don't know Legendborn, we're following Bree, who is a teenager. She's just like a young girl. She's literally like 16. She goes and gets into early acceptance at a college, and what that feels like for her, and like what she kind of deals with being in the South, being a young girl, and then being Black. We also are dealing with like kind of like a secret society that she didn't really know of, but she is kind of, she accidentally kind of like got herself into this situation, and then realizing that there is a little bit of a connect between her life and that secret society. And so then she's exploring that like secret society, the information that they have. It seems like they have something that she needs in order to figure out like the mystery of this occurrence that happened to her right before she got into college. And I don't want to spoil that. It happens like in the very beginning of that book, but like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like it can be a spoiler, or it can, you know, I would rather people kind of learn about that on their own while they're reading it. And then also being wrapped up in problems that the society is also in, and then, you know, figuring out how does she, I guess, like keep surviving. There's like fantastical elements to it. There is creatures and like powers and things like that. And so her just kind of being plopped into all of that, she's then is having to reconcile, oh, this is happening, like, because this is happening in like our world. This college she goes to is like a real college. She's in the South, and so she's then having to navigate like this new information, all of this new information all at once. This is the second book in that. We did leave off on like a cliffhanger on the first one, so I was super interested in knowing how that was gonna play out in this book. And I finished it I finished it right after I came back from Norway, so that was like 2 weeks ago. So this is like still fresh on my mind a little bit. Again, and I mentioned this in the other vlog when I read the first book, sometimes I get like a little bit mixed up of the roles that they all have, like the class, the roles, because again, just like Bree, we're also being thrown into everything, and then also there's just like a lot of people. There's like a lot of characters, a lot of names, and then like the roles that they play, and then I forget. I am going to start reading this and see how far I get into it. The writing is in the first book at least, the writing was like very easy to get into. I didn't have any problems with like the style of the writing or anything like that. It was just like the class and like the characters, the amount of characters that we have, and keeping up with like what they were, what family they belonged to, and like, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna try to finish this book within the next week, but we will see. Because again, I don't think I can finish like 500-page books in like a week, but we'll see. And I haven't decided yet, but I might do some like garden updates. I started my garden in the end of March, and then April is when I started like planting everything out. So it's been a few months since I've started my garden, and it looks a lot different. I'm very happy with how it looks so far. So I thought I might show you some garden updates. Depending on how I feel, I might start listening to parts of this on audiobook, and then work on the crochet blanket for my brother's new baby. And yeah, we'll see what we get into this week, but hopefully it'll just be mainly those 3 things. outside right now and I look a little rough. I just finished working out and, you know, like post-workout, you don't look that great. And also I'm outside in the sun, like lathered in sunscreen. I'm just, you know, like it's not that flattering. Anyways, speaking of sunscreen, as much as I love reading outside and, you know, basking in the sun, I lather myself in a lot of sunscreen because I do take that very seriously. However, then I'm just sticky all over. So like when you're reading like a physical book, I'm like, ooh, I can tell the sunscreen is getting on some of the pages, especially if it's a book with like, this one doesn't. You know those books that have like that velvet kind of color, or not color, that velvet like cover? You just like touch it and like your oil gets on it. Man, like you can tell which books I've taken outside, especially with covers that are like that. You can't really do anything about it. So anyways, I have started, of course, Blood Marked. I mentioned that before. I'm 80 pages in, so it's very, very little. But so far, we're getting a good amount of new characters. We are getting more into the like nitty gritty of what's going on, I think. There's not much to say in 80 pages, and because this is the second book, it will spoil anything in the first book. Lately, in all of my reading vlogs, I like don't talk about the book at all, purely because I don't like knowing much of anything in books. And so then I kind of do the same thing with when I'm telling you guys like, oh yeah, like this book, and I just like don't tell you anything. So I don't know if that's fun or if it's just like more of the same. Can't really say anything about the second book, but so far, again, we're getting like a lot more newer characters. And then the secret society that she is a part of, there's like different, they call it chapters. So there's like different areas. There's like, I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't remember, but I think there's like a northern, southern, maybe eastern, western, I'm not sure. But there's different chapters. And so she's only part of one. And so then we are getting like a little look into the other chapters. And so it is like making the world a little bit bigger, which is nice, because then we are then learning like the politics side of that. And I think with the first one, like it was very, since we're only getting the first, or since we were only getting like one chapter, like I guess it's confusing saying chapters because then like chapters in a book, but like when you're getting one part of that society, then as you are learning how the other societies function, it really puts into perspective of how big the group is. And so then like in the first book, yeah, we were only dealing with one part of the society. And now we're getting a little bit more. And then that is leading into different politic structures and just like different people, not really knowing who is good, who's bad, and what everyone's like motives are. So I think that's interesting, but I am enjoying the second book. So there's that. I'm gonna continue sitting outside. I have like a little bowl of mango that I cut up, so I'm gonna eat that. I'm just gonna try to read as much as I can today. Again, like the weather is still up and down. So the reason I'm outside, as you know, today is because the next few days it's gonna be raining. It is 8:30 in the morning, and I'm going to be in the kitchen cooking for a little bit. My parents moved into a home, and they are currently renovating it, so they basically demolished a good part of it, especially the kitchen. So I'm going to make them some food to eat, because I just thought, they probably want some home cooking, I don't know if it'll be good, but we'll see. I'm going to be in here cooking for a little bit, and hopefully I can get it to them before the afternoon, before like 12 o'clock. So I have some dishes in mind to cook for them, so I'm going to see if I have everything to cook it all. I'm going to get to cooking. We're in the aftermath of my kitchen after cooking. I love that I didn't show you anything from the final cooked meals. I know that at the end of cooking and like everything is being finished all at once. Like you got the rice cooker going, you got the soup boiling, you got, like the eggs need to be off the pan and like the pancakes are frying. You don't want to burn, like everything just like is ending at the same time. And so I just got like so overwhelmed. And I think this is how I am with cooking anyways, especially if I'm like trying to time everything to be done at the same time. So I just gave up filming. I was just making sure things weren't getting burnt, but the food got delivered to my parents. I got it delivered before 12. I don't know when they're gonna eat it, but that's on them. I hope it's good. I had the kimchi jjigae with my lunch. I ate it just now with some rice. It wasn't bad. I used the kimchi from Costco and like some that we had in our fridge. So like sometimes it's not the best because, it's just not, it's not that great, but it comes in a clutch. It was nice also. Some of the stuff I was using in my cooking was coming from my garden, and those things needed to be used. Like the green onions, the chives, the perilla leaves, like when they start getting a little old outside, you know what I mean? Like you need to cut them so that they'll regrow. So it was nice getting some of that out of there. Just trying to motivate myself to clean. I hate washing dishes. I might leave these for my husband to wash later, maybe. I just thought I would let you know that I did finish cooking. Nothing was abandoned. I just didn't film anything because I didn't know what I was doing and I was like forgetting a lot of things. So I thought, why would I film that? I'm going to show you my garden. I am pretty proud of it this year. I grew a lot of things from seed again, but there were a couple of things that I didn't. I'm not super convinced with the way I set it up this year, so I think next year I'll redo it. Also, I don't think a lot of these plants like being in the sun all day. Even though they're like sun-loving plants, I think the heat and the sun where we live is just not the best. So I think eventually all of these are going to move to the backyard. Or, I mean, not the backyard. We're in the backyard. To the back of the yard. This is like right directly in my back porch. Everything is in pots. There are some things in the ground, but we have really bad clay soil with a lot of rocks and a lot of like smaller rocks. And so we tried amending the soil, but I think it's going to take a lot more years. But yeah, it's just a lot of rocks too. So you just can't really do anything. Anyways, but I'm growing 3 types of cucumbers. I got Market Moors, Bay Alpha, and Persian Muncher cucumbers. I'm going to be starting my second round of cucumbers soon. I think I'm going to do maybe the Ashley cucumber and then do more Munchers. We're not the biggest fan of the Bay Alphas. But anyways, I also have purple pole beans. I love the flowers on purple pole beans. I think they're just so cute and dainty and small. And then I also have bush beans. They're going through their second round, both of them. This year, I also am trying to do more flowers. So, of course, I'm always doing my zinnias. I'm doing my cosmos. I got calendulas growing in the back. And then I also did a sunflower this year. For whatever reason, I always think growing flowers is hard when you're starting from seed, but all of these are doing really well, so I love them. And then I also have marigolds. I could not start marigolds from seeds this year. I guess none of the seeds were viable. Hopefully this year I can get some seeds from them, but I bought them. I have strawberries growing that I overwintered from last year. I also have all the herbs. Most of the herbs either came from seed or they're being propagated. So I have Thai basil, regular basil, chives, onion chives, garlic chives, green onions, mint, and thyme, lemon thyme. I also have a squash plant that I didn't think would survive, so we have that going. And a pepper plant that my husband's grandmother gave us last year that self-seeded, so that's great. Oh, and then I also have perilla leaves. I harvested a good amount of those earlier. And then I also have a bunch of like what I like to call Green Onion Island, where I just have a bunch of green onions in the ground. So like whenever I bought green onions, I just stuff them in the ground, just kind of leave them there, but hopefully they'll keep surviving. I also have a cherry tomato plant over here. I grew it initially because it was supposed to be dill. Ended up not being dill. So I don't know which cherry tomato this is. I'm growing 3 varieties this year, so we'll see what that is. And we'll go to the back part, which I enjoy more than this area. Oh God, I forgot that the pool filter was gonna be this loud, but sorry. We are in the back part of my garden, which is doing really well than I thought, because as you can tell, it's like pretty shady. There is some light throughout the morning, like it's kind of dappled lighting, and then it maybe gets like 2 or 3 hours of full sun. But I have a lot of plants here that are considered like full sun loving, heat loving, but I honestly think they're doing better in the shade than they are over there on the other side of my garden, where that gets full sun for like 6 hours. So I was a little hesitant about building the garden bed right here, but I think so far, again, everyone is loving it. I have heard no complaints from them. They also look a lot healthier, in my opinion, and they're not getting as much like sun scald. So my goal is move everyone over there to this side, maybe get another garden bed. I'm not sure exactly, but I have a lot of pots, so I can still do potting, but we'll see. It's just like an organization issue at that point. This bed has majority of the tomatoes in it. It has all of the heirloom tomatoes are growing and the cherry tomatoes. So I don't know how many tomato plants I have. Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 15. I have 15 tomato plants, not all in the bed. Over here I have 15, and then I have 2 cherry tomatoes over there. So technically I have 17. We'll see how that works. Starting on this side, we have my squash plant. I have bush beans, and then I also have more herbs. So the Thai, the Italian basil, 3 Thai basil plants here, more green onions. I have an oregano plant growing. I actually propagated it. I took a little piece from a big box store and I just put it in the ground. I also have Thai chili peppers. Those I had to buy because the ones that I tried to start from seed this year, they didn't pop up. I actually have one growing in the ground over there though, so I'm gonna move that one into a pot eventually when it gets bigger. But for now, I got the Thai chili plants. I got 2 of them from one little packet. I have marigolds in here. I also have Swiss chard. I have 1 sunflower here. I don't know if it's in too tight of a spot, but we'll see. I have Swiss chard. Some of the Swiss chard is being eaten by slugs, snails, what have you. Can't do anything about it. I have dill that I'm growing and a lot of tomatoes. So I guess I'll start with, I'm just going to say which ones I'm growing. I'm growing Black Prince, Cherokee Purple, Black Krim, German Johnson, San Marzano Romas, and then my cherry tomatoes, just regular red cherry, Sun Gold, and Tropical Sunset. So those are all of my tomato plants. Right now, the Black Prince tomatoes are doing the best out of all of them. And then also in the back, I have chamomile growing in a pot. Let's pray to God those grow. I tried them last year, they didn't grow. And then I also have some bolted cilantro. I have calendulas, and then 3 cucumbers that I accidentally left a cucumber on a plant last year, and some volunteers popped up. So I have 3 plants from the Sumter cucumbers. We didn't like them that much, but I'm just gonna let them grow because, they just showed up. Yeah, I think that's everything that's growing. There's also wild grapes in the back, which is fun. I don't know if it'll fruit, but if they do, I think the birds will eat most of them. So hopefully the birds stay distracted with that and not eat anything in the bed. I just thought it'd be fun to show you some of the things I'm growing in the garden this year. I'm very proud of a lot of my plants because almost all of them I started from seed or they self-seeded themselves from last year. Of course, a few of them I had to buy from stores just because, things weren't growing, which is fine. There's no shame in buying plants or buying, starters at a store. But it's nice also to know that a lot of these did come from seed, and it's kind of like an infinite hack, if you grow it from seed and then you let it mature whenever it's done for the season, then you can get the seeds from that fruit and just keep growing them. So I also like having that option of, potentially saving money, but a lot of money goes into fertilizer, soil, any kind of amendments you need to make to your soil in case there's a problem. So let me know if you're growing anything or if you're going to be starting anything. You can always start gardening any time of the year. It doesn't have to be spring, summer. There's fall harvests, there's winter harvests. You can grow things most of the time in any zone that you're in any time of the year. So it doesn't mean you once summer is over doesn't mean you are too late. You can always just start in the fall, which might be better because you deal with a lot less bugs in the fall, winter. I hope maybe this, gets other people to start gardening. Gardening doesn't need to be a fully aesthetic thing. My garden's kind of ugly, which is fine. I think the things growing are very pretty and make up for my haphazard gardening setups, but it's very fulfilling to see things grow and to thrive under all of the love and care I give them. So I really love coming out into the garden every day and seeing what has sprouted, what has grown. I also read this quote, I think it was from Audrey Hepburn the other day, and it was something along the lines of, when you plant a garden, you are believing in a tomorrow. So I thought that was very beautifully said. I might have not said that correctly, but I think, anywhere you are, you can start a garden, you can start growing things from pots. It doesn't even have to be anything super complicated, but I think just growing flowers, growing any kind of veggies, anything really, will be beneficial for, of course, the environment, the pests that need to, continue to live off of the pollen and the fruits that you provide. It's also great for your own mental health too. I hope this inspires maybe just one person to start a garden. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm not very good at gardening myself. I'm always learning, but there's like a lot of people on YouTube that have really extensive free videos of gardening and like beginning gardening, which is actually so wonderful. I hope, you liked seeing a little bit of my garden. I love watching videos of people harvesting things. So I don't know. I don't know if this does the same thing, but anyways, yeah, I just wanted to show you my little garden. I'm gonna go ahead and go because it's getting extremely hot outside. Hi friends, I thought I would go ahead and end out this video, and I also wanted to update you on Blood Marked. I'm about 100 pages away from finishing it. I don't think I'm going to continue the series. I felt like this second book is very chaotic, kind of messy. It feels like the plot is sort of all over the place. We're following a lot of different plot points, and the characters themselves don't feel like they're developing in a way that I thought they would, given some of the circumstances that they are dealing with. I feel like the main female character, especially, her character development is going in a direction that I didn't think it would. And what really kind of made me make this decision of not following up with the series is she says a line towards the end of this book, which I don't think is a spoiler. She just says something like, "Oh, I don't want to be useless and coddled. I'm not some damsel in distress." That felt very out of character for me for her to say. Up until this point, a lot of the situations that she was in or found herself in, a lot of the decisions that she made in those situations directly negatively affected the people around her, her friends, her comrades, and herself. And it felt, in my opinion, like very irresponsible decisions, knowing the circumstances that she can put herself in. Up until that point, I was fine because, again, she's new. She needs to know how to use her powers. She needs to learn combat skills. Like, it's all very new. Yeah, so for me, the plot, the magic system was all over the place, kind of chaotic. I feel like I know where this is going, and I don't think I'm gonna like the ending of this second book based on how our female main character is acting. But anyways, I hope you guys have been doing well. Let me know what books you're reading, what you're gardening, what you're making. I would love to know. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.